Well, a very good evening and thank you for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar and here are the headlines we're tracking this hour. US and India will make an announcement on semiconductor supply chain next week as Prime Minister Modi heads to Washington for a state visit. US National Security Advisor Jsullivan also says that General Electric fighter jet deal will be an important transfer of technology to India. The India-US relationship is deeper and stronger than before, says Jonathan Feiner, the Deputy National Security Advisor to the White House. Also adds that both nations are working to expand the ties in defense, technology, and education, among others. Stock markets rise across the world ahead of the US Fed rate decision later tonight. CNBC survey shows 91% are expecting a status quo. Majority also expect the Fed to hold fire at least till November of this year. Mutual funds unlikely to get any leeway on holding limit after the HDFC merger. Sources say SEBI wants schemes to comply with the current limit of 10% exposure to a company by rebalancing their portfolio. Vodafone and Hutchison agree to merge, forming the largest telecom operator in UK. Vodafone will own 51% stake in the combined entity, leaving Hutchison with a minority stake. The merger business will invest £11 billion in UK over the next 10 years. European regulators charge Google with anti-competitive practices and abusing dominant market position in the digital advertising business. Also seek to break up the company. AdTech is Google's top money spinner and accounted for nearly 80% of its revenues last year. JSW Group is among the frontrunners to buy stake in MG Motor India. Sources say both companies are yet to put pen to paper. MG Motor continues to hold talks with other interested companies, along with private equity investors and dealers. More aircraft lessors take the legal route against SpiceJet over unpaid dues. Money Control accesses two rulings worth over $15 million in a UK court. Three more cases lodged in London's commercial courts. Two lessors have already moved the company tribunal in India against SpiceJet over unpaid dues. Jubilant Group's founder Hari Bhartia says India has the potential to be the largest market for Dominoes pizza. Says India's consumption story is at districts and small towns. That's an exclusive. More than 45,000 people evacuated to safer locations as the Gujarat coast braces for Cyclone Joy. Heavy rains lash large parts of Saurashtra and Kutch regions. The cyclone is likely to make landfall by noon tomorrow. Former United States President Donald Trump pleads not guilty in court. He faces 37 federal charges of willfully mishandling national security material and scheming to not return classified documents. Well, let's begin with the day's market action. A range-bound session on Dalal Street. Sensex gained just under 100 points. Nifty gained 40 points as it moved closer to record levels. Mid-cap index remained at record territory even as financial stocks underperformed today. And well, the stock markets are gaining across the world ahead of the US Fed rate decision. Later tonight, a CNBC survey shows 91% of market participants are expecting a status quo. Majority also expect the Fed to hold fire at least till November of this year. Here are some experts with their expectations on the Fed rate decision.
Well, I'm in the pause camp, but a pause is just a pause. And I think they will signal that their bias is to hike. And even though you've seen inflation come down a tick, you see that something comes down in inflation, energy, but then food prices go up. And so just U.S. core inflation, it's been resilient, it's been sticky.
I think the Fed is done. I think they've been promoting the idea that they want to get the Fed funds rate up to a restrictive level and then keep it there. They don't want to push the Fed funds rate up too high, get a recession, then have to force it back down without completely being sure that they brought inflation down. I think the market has been wrong about the notion that the Fed's going to lower interest rates. I think they keep them at 5.25 through the end of the year, and then maybe next year they start to consider lowering it.
Well, you can catch our Fed coverage from 11 p.m. tonight, right here on CNBC-TV18. Well, back home, India's wholesale price index for May has continued to be in the negative territory for the second consecutive month. The figure contracted to 3.48%, and this is the lowest since November of 2015. The decline was broad-based and largely contributed by a fall in prices of mineral oils, basic metals, and food products. Well, here's the top story tonight. US and India will make an announcement on semiconductor supply chain next week. That's the word coming in from Jsullivan, the US National Security Advisor, who is in India ahead of Prime Minister Modi's US state visit. Speaking to a select group of journalists, Sullivan also said that the General Electric fighter jet deal will be an important transfer of technology to India. Parishit Luthra joins us with more. Parishit, take us through the key comments by the US National Security Advisor.
Well, we will see strong deliverable, substantial outcomes on the semiconductor supply chain cooperation, technology of transfer in the defense industry, also on artificial intelligence. That's the word coming in from Jsullivan, the National Security Advisor, who was in India to meet his counterpart, NSA Ajit Doval, meet Subramaniam Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and a whole host of companies involved in critical and emerging technologies here in India. Yes, there will be a substantial agreement when it comes to transfer of technology and also sharing expertise with Indian workers, training the Indian workforce when it comes to all aspects of semiconductor manufacturing. We would like to have a resilient supply chain, and Jsullivan went on to say that US is putting a lot of resources into promoting semiconductor design, manufacturing and research in India, and future applications of semiconductors will also be a priority for research institutes on both sides. On defense technology, he said that he would not like to jump the gun as far as the announcement on the GHAL deal goes, but he says that this would be an exquisite and important technology transfer deal, and it would only pave the way for more technology cooperation in the days to come, and how President Biden has instructed every wing of the US government to remove regulatory hurdles to technology cooperation. Both leaders will spend a substantial amount of time talking about artificial intelligence, 5G, 6G deployment, Open RAN, so we can expect some outcomes on that front as well. There is also talk of selling more Guardian drones to India, and those discussions on UAV sales will also be a part of the discussions when Prime Minister Modi and President Biden sit down together.
Right, Parishit, thanks a lot for that. So big ticket potential takeaways there from Prime Minister Modi's US state visit. But speaking of that visit, the White House's Deputy National Security Advisor, Jonathan Feiner, has said that India and the US have developed a mature relationship and that the ties between the two are deeper and stronger than before. Speaking at the India Ideas Summit in Washington, Feiner also stressed on strengthening defense ties.
It is clear that there are aspects of the current geopolitical environment where we differ and where we are able to have direct and clear conversations on topics, including topics like the Russia-Ukraine war, where there are areas of disagreement, but also areas of very clear alignment. We have developed the kind of mature relationship where we can move forward together in areas where we completely see eye to eye, where we can discuss in a candid and direct way without it emerging into some sort of crisis, areas where we do not 100% agree, like no two nations do. Our two countries consult regularly to assess regional developments and put in place an architecture to cooperate more closely through joint exercises, information sharing, logistics networks, and interoperable communication systems. We continue to strengthen India's status as major defense partner through defense industrial cooperation that co-develops and co-produces important military capabilities for both of our countries.
And well, you can catch that entire conversation with Jonathan Feiner on India Ideas Summit at 10:30 p.m. right here on CNBC-TV18. Well, in international news, European regulators have charged Google with anti-competitive practices and abusing its dominant market position in its digital advertisement business. Now, the regulator is planning to break up Google's advertising business and has said that a behavioral remedy may not be enough for the company to stop its anti-competitive practices. This could cause a big setback for the company, as the ad tech business is Google's biggest revenue generator. It accounted for nearly 80% of Google's revenues last year. Vodafone and Hutchison have agreed to merge, and this will form the largest telecom operator in United Kingdom. Vodafone will own 51% stake in the combined entity, leaving Hutchison with a minority stake. The companies said that the merged business would invest $11 billion in UK over the next 10 years. The current UK CEO, Ahmed Essam, will lead the new enterprise. Shares of Vodafone Idea surged in trade today. This comes after reports suggested that the company was charting out its business revival plan. The company reportedly proposed a significant equity infusion of 14,000 crore rupees. Aditya Birla Group and Vodafone Group PLC will invest 2,000 crore rupees as fresh equity. This will add to the existing 5,000 crore rupees that was pumped in by the promoters since the government's revival plan was announced in 2021. JSW Group is among the front-runners to acquire a stake in MG Motor India, which was a Chinese ownership. However, industry sources tell us that the Mahindra Group as well as the Hinduja Group have also shown interest. Speaking to CNBC-TV18 exclusively last week, JSW Group and Chairman and MD Sajjan Jindal said that MG Motor is on their list of acquisition if they want to sell. Listen in.
On MG Motor, if you are asking me specifically, because I don't shy away from difficult questions, that's also in one of the is one of the lists in our list. Could be one of the options if they want to sell, but I'm not sure as yet.
Well, now here's a story on the potential impact of the HDFC merger on mutual funds. Sources say that market regulator SEBI is unlikely to make any relaxations on holding limits. Current rules limit the exposure of a mutual fund to 10% of a company. Yash Jain is joining us now with more details. Yash, tell us, so no more waivers coming in from SEBI.
Well, before we get to what's transpired in this particular matter, let's just understand what SEBI regulations state. As per SEBI regulations, mutual funds in any of the individual schemes or funds cannot have more than 10% investment into one single listed entity. Now, what happens here is that many schemes across mutual funds have exposure to HDFC as well as HDFC Bank separately. Now, when these two entities merge together, that is HDFC and HDFC Bank, investments from many mutual funds across schemes could breach the 10% limit. Now, this matter was taken by Association of Mutual Funds in India to market regulator SEBI, where an exemption was sought from SEBI. But what we've been given to understand is that SEBI is unlikely to give any sort of special exemption to these mutual funds whose schemes exceed the 10% limit. In fact, what we've been given to understand is that SEBI is expected to stick to its regulations, where after the merger between the two entities has been consummated, a period of 30 days could be given for these mutual funds to comply with the 10% investment limit. If even after that there is non-compliance in certain schemes, then mutual funds will have to reach out to market regulator SEBI, where further 30 days could be given for the compliance which is needed on these investment regulations.
Right, Yash, thanks a lot for that. So no relaxations expected or likely from SEBI on the 10% holding limit. Moving ahead now, fresh trouble for cash-strapped SpiceJet. Two aircraft leasing companies have obtained a summary judgment worth $15 million against the airline in a London High Court. Now, Money Control has confirmed that there are at least 3 more cases lodged against the airline in commercial courts in London. Danish Khan now joins us with more details. Danish, tell us, what are you picking up from London?
SpiceJet has been hit by summary judgment totaling over $15 million by the High Court in London. GASL Ireland and VSMSN are the two airline leasing companies that have managed to get these judgments from the High Court. During the proceedings, the court observed that SpiceJet made several attempts to delay the court's timetable. In one instance, the legal team representing SpiceJet came off record, citing non-payment of fees. The airline then sought further time, saying that it is in the process of finding and hiring a new legal team. But that did not impress the court, and the judge said that the proceedings must go on and entered a summary judgment against the airline. These two companies are also likely to approach the National Company Law Tribunal in India in their bid to enforce the UK court's judgment. Recently, Wilmington Services, another company that had obtained a summary judgment against the airline in London, has already approached the National Company Law Tribunal in India. I can also confirm that there are at least 3 more cases lodged in the commercial courts here in London against SpiceJet. This also includes a case filed by a Turkish company. Given the spate of litigation here in the United Kingdom and also in India, it will be interesting to see what arguments SpiceJet will put forward.
Well, staying with the aviation space, government sources have claimed that airfares have seen a significant decline of nearly 60%. This was largely driven by recent intervention and meetings held by the government. CNBC-TV18 has also learnt that the centre is monitoring the situation and is holding meetings on regulating airfares. Northeast India will get its very own airline soon. Jetwings Airways has received a no-objection certificate from the Aviation Ministry to operate scheduled commuter air transport services. The airline will start operations from October of 2023. It will offer regional connectivity to passengers in the Northeast and Eastern region under the UDAN scheme. Promoters are planning an initial investment of 100 crore rupees.
We intend to fly in October, so we just got our licenses. We are on the verge of signing a final agreement with the aircraft providers. Our fleet size will be 5, but at this moment, in the month of October, we will be getting 2 aircrafts, and gradually we will increase from there. At this moment, we are planning to invest about 100 crores into this, and 5 years we don't know. We can't say because with this aviation industry booming now, maybe we might need funds in the next year to add on more planes.
India has the potential to be the largest market for dominoes. That's the word coming in from Hari Bhartia, founder and co-chairman at Jubilant. Bhartia Group speaking to CNBC-TV18, Shireen Bhan, on the sidelines of the India Ideas Summit in Washington, D.C. Bhartia said that India's consumption story is in its districts and small towns. Take a look.
One reason of success is continuously bring value to the customer. If I look at our own journey in the last 10 years, I don't think we have actually increased prices, but what we have done is continuously leverage the scale to bring value. If you can give value, you will build scale. And today, it is the second largest in the world. When we started 25 years back, it looked quite difficult. The Indian consumption story is not in main cities only, in main large urban centers that we visit, but is now starting to see in district headquarters, in small towns. Consumers want great product, hygienic product, delivered at great value. So I think the scope is unlimited for US brands who are trying to enter India.
Well, with that, it's time now to slip into a very short break. But coming up, more than 45,000 people have been evacuated to safer locations as the Gujarat coast braces for Cyclone Joy. Details when we come back.
देखो दे रहे हैं लोन 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 और इसको उसको सबको चाहिए लोन लोन लोन
जो घर लेना हो ले ले लोन गोल्ड लोन लेना हो ले ले लोन बिजनेस बढ़ाना हो ले ले लोन अरे लोन पर लोन ये कौन सा है सही लोन
कभी सही इंटरेस्ट तो बोल
कई छुपी शर्तों का झोल
अरे स्टॉप अब गोल गोल को छोड़ सुन सीधी बात के बोल अब हर सपना होगा पूरा जो तेरा है अधूरा और IIFL फाइनेंस पे है मेरा भरोसा पूरा गोल्ड से लेकर बिजनेस पर्सनल से लेकर होम हर जरूरत को मिलेगा लोन तो हुआ ना यही सही लोन IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात
delivery. There is a large block. Understand in the block deal, the leading private equity investor was a seller. BHEL is buzzing in trade today and there is an anticipation of a large order coming for BHEL very soon. the promoter entity of Adani Group. I understand from sources on the selling side, and a large leading US-based fund was a buyer in today's block. We have confirmation of both. The promoter entities have sold and have raised 15,500 crores by selling stake in the 4 group companies, and the buyer is GQG Partners.
Tune in to NSE Closing Bell as we spot deals before they happen, decode their impact on stock prices, and help you stay ahead of the markets. CNBC-TV18. Follow the leader.
Welcome back. Now, the Met Department has said that Cyclone Joy is expected to make landfall on Gujarat's coast between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. tomorrow. A red alert has been sounded for Saurashtra and Kutch coasts. Several districts, subdivisions in these districts have received heavy rainfall over the last 24 hours. The Met Department has warned that the intensity of rainfall could increase as cyclone approaches the Gujarat coast. Places across Kutch, Dwarka and Jamnagar are likely to witness extremely heavy rains. NDRF teams have been deployed in disaster-prone areas. The Gujarat government has already evacuated over 40,000 people. Vinaya Deshpande brings us this report from Dwarka.
Very severe cyclonic storm Bipor Joy comes closer to the coastline of Gujarat as it is expected to make a landfall by tomorrow evening, somewhere between Kutch and Karachi. Preparations are in full swing in the state of Gujarat to make sure that people are moved to safety and that there isn't much of a damage to property as well. Till date today, over 40,000 people have been moved to safety from low-lying areas of different districts, also from areas where there is report of sporadic, very high to extremely high rainfall. We have also seen that the Gujarat government has said that especially for the region of Kutch, several special measures have been put in place.
Well, fresh violence in Manipur. Sources say that at least 9 people were killed in a late-night firing in a village in Imphal East. 11 out of the state's 16 districts are currently under curfew. Internet across the state remains suspended. The Enforcement Directorate arrested Tamil Nadu Transport Minister and DMK leader Sendil Balaji in connection with an alleged jobs for cash scam that took place during the erstwhile AIA-DMK government's regime between 2011 and 2016. Balaji was with the AIA-DMK then and served as the Transport Minister. He has been sent to judicial custody till June 28th. The minister complained about chest pain after he was taken into custody. Upon examination, the doctors advised him to undergo a bypass surgery. Former United States President Donald Trump pleads not guilty in court. He faces 37 federal charges of willfully mishandling national security material and scheming to not return classified documents. A group of Beautician partners have staged a protest against Urban Company, raising concerns over the purported permanent blocking of their ID cards by the company. The company, in a statement to CNBC-TV18, has said, and I quote, "We continue to maintain an open-door policy and encourage dialogue with our partners," unquote. CNBC-TV18's Aishwarya Anand speaks to Urban Company's partners.
And standing outside Urban Company's office in Udyog Vihar, where the Beautician partners have gathered to raise their voice against their IDs being blocked on the platform. According to the partners, their IDs have been blocked due to the cancellations that's taking place on the platform. Secondly, due to the leaves that they are taking if they want to go on a leave for 2 to 3 days, and also because of the fall in the response rating.
5-6 दिन से मैं ब्लॉक्ड हूँ। हमने 8 साल इतनी मेहनत करी, अपने पर्सनल कस्टमर नहीं बनाए और काम कर करके हमने जो आज इस लेवल पे कंपनी को पहुँचाया, उसके बाद आप ये पुराने लोगों को हटा रहे हैं और नए लोगों को रख रहे हैं सिर्फ इसलिए नई लड़कियाँ ज्वाइन करेंगी, वो इनको 50,000 रुपये देंगी और हम लोगों ने दे दिए।
लेट सपोज मैं आज दिल्ली में हूँ, अगर मुझे गुड़गांव की बुकिंग करी, मैं एक एग्जांपल दे रही हूँ डिस्टेंस के अकॉर्डिंग, और हमें ये टाइम दे रहे हैं आधे घंटे का। मान लो हमें ट्रैवल टाइम 1 घंटा लगता है और कस्टमर कहता है जी मेरा टाइम तो इतने का था, तुम इतने बजे क्यों आ रहे हो, वो कैंसिल करता है, वो भी हमारे ऊपर लगती है। तो अगर 1 महीने में वो 5 कैंसिलेशन आती है तो वो हम परमानेंट ब्लॉक हो जाते हैं।
This isn't the first time that Urban Company is in the midst of a disagreement with the workers on its platform on its policies. In fact, a larger protest played out in late 2021 when female workers raised issues around safety and working conditions. At the time, the company launched a program to improve partner ratings and positively impact their livelihoods. With camera person Rajinder Singh, Aishwarya Anand for CNBC TV18.
Well, Urban Company has issued a statement to CNBC TV18 and I quote, "We had recently asked a few partners who were not meeting the marketplace standards despite multiple prior notices and retrainings to part ways with the marketplace. We continue to maintain an open door policy and encourage dialogue with our partners. We remain committed to building a safe, high-quality home services platform," end quote. Well, after a year of repair and restoration, Mumbai's iconic David Sassoon Library and Reading Room is now open to the public. With more than a 150-year-old history, the library will house an archive of around 30,000 books, magazines and newspapers. Zenia Baria gives us a sneak peek into the library. Take a look.
If you call yourself a bookworm, the recently reopened David Sassoon Library in Mumbai is a must visit. It's taken 16 months to renovate the historic institution and the wait is surely worth it. Built in 1867 as the museum and library, the Reading Room stands proudly within Mumbai's UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for its Victorian Gothic and Art Deco structures. Aside from its breathtaking architecture, the restoration project also focused on rehousing nearly 30,000 books in 5 different languages. The Sassoon family is known for their riches. David Sassoon's son, Abdullah, changed his name to Albert and moved to England. He became a baronet and married into the wealthy Rothschild family. According to legend, all the Sassoons of Europe are said to be descendants of the David Sassoon family. With camera person Datta Raswe, this is Zenia Baria for CNBC TV18.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates continue right here on CNBC TV18.